them come. This is their fate.
But moving on, the other things that I want to talk about today was Saints Row. Saints Row is. Let's talk about games that cater to the current generation. You know, those, what they call them, Gen Z. What is it? You know, so, you know, where they have the very, I don't want to call it like, it's very heavy in pop culture today. Those games. Are those games like a turn
like Fortnite?
No, not like a Fortnite, actually. Fortnite doesn't.
Well, it does. They put like actual rappers to perform in the show. They are definitely looking for that same demographic. Like, there's no reason to get somebody like Travis Scott or like Post Malone in Fortnite other than
those are things. Those are events. But you wrap your whole game, the entirety of your entire game, around this thing, which, like, this is what builds your characters. Like, because Saints Row is a character-based game, right? And in some aspect, it's like you have to deal with the crew. You have to deal with the crew for the entirety of the game, and you have to play with the person that they decided to make your character be. So, the Gen Z, I don't even know if the people in that category likes those games, in my opinion. I know for sure I don't. And if you know what I'm talking about, probably Jalen probably knows the most. He's probably playing Watch Dogs 2. And he's probably felt or heard a few different references that he just didn't get and they thought it was probably hilarious. And he was just like, he probably just straight faced through it. Am I wrong, Jalen?
Hold on. Say that again. What you?
You was cracking up at all the jokes in Watch Dogs too?
You've been cracking up to the jokes.
I mean, like, they said certain things and stuff, but like, I mean, I guess I'm trying to like pinpoint exactly like what's like. I don't feel like we too far off of Gen Z. That's what I'm saying. So, and then Watch Dogs 2, an old game anyway. I just felt like they was in tune with what was going on in like the world, whether it's dial or I don't want to say dialect, like I guess lingo per se, like word choice, that type of stuff. I guess the way like social media and stuff work, and I just feel like they was like real in tune. But I think that game came out in like 2016 and stuff, and things obviously progressed way further since then. So, I guess to answer your question, I don't really know.
Okay. You didn't play Borderlands 3 though, right?
Skaglands.
Did you play
it? I was playing.
We played it.
We had it.
I played it.
I bought it.
Yeah.
Did you meet the twins?
Hey, no, I probably fell asleep if I met them. I don't even remember playing that
characters that are based around stuff that is currently or has currently happened probably in the last 2 or 3 years. Games that reference COVID, games that reference you know, I hate to say it, things that are very strange that people do nowadays. Dances, they reference sayings, phrases that aren't of the times, or if they are of the times, they're very fresh and maybe they have passed since development has started. Talk about games that try to cater to that group of people. If you may understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt like even if the game was mechanically sound, the character that they are deriving that you have to play with could cause you not to want to play the game?
Absolutely.
Trying to think. I don't know. I mean, I felt like I don't know, man. I wanted to say I kind of felt similar, like that to some capacity on Watch Dogs or Marcus, but I was like, I mean, to give him some credit, he is a better black character. So
yeah, Marcus wasn't bad. His characters,
Hey,
his supporting acts were the guy with the
yeah, his
face mask, the guy with the one that always has things pop up over his head when he was talking, like he had words pop up instead of
yeah,
actually
he was
saying
trash.
anything. Those characters,
Those I didn't like those characters because they just was a they was like they felt real tropey, if that makes sense.
yeah, a
And for like a
tropey
real
character,
character, they felt trope. Like yeah,
a real tropey character, like what a hacker would be like. That's what they threw in there. Marcus obviously doesn't fit the bill necessarily because he has like a very mellow style to him. It's a little bit different. Marcus was an actual good character. I'm not trying to hate on Marcus. I'm trying to say when you were listening to people in their dialect, did it seem annoying? Because at points where it was just like, okay, oh, you trying to be funny, you ain't really funny though. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and you
I've
just mentioned it like Borderlands 3 for me because like I think a lot of people agree with Borderlands 3. They really changed how they wrote the game, and Borderlands always trying to like be funny, and not everything was funny, but
mm-hmm,
that one just felt like very modern, and like we're referencing stuff that like you saw a couple months ago on Twitter, stuff like that,
mm-hmm.
and it was not good. And I think that's the problem with that type of writing is like if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna write a joke about COVID, it has to be funny and not just a lame joke. Otherwise, it's gonna come across as like a lame joke. Uh, Even though I don't like all the Borderlands games, when I played Borderlands 1 and 2, I can see like, oh, Claptrap is annoying, but he's kind of funny sometimes. Same thing with Handsome Jack. He's trying to be funny sometimes, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But like what they were doing in Borderlands 3 is just like you're not even really trying. You're just throwing like
Everything
it's
at
not
the
even
wall.
memes. Yeah, it's not even just memes. It's just like, you know, referencing pop culture just for no reason. And I think that's the same thing that like Deadpool does, but Deadpool actually makes it kind of funny sometimes, whereas
Yeah,
other stuff, yeah,
it
just can't
can be
do that.
done
Everybody
right.
can't write it.
Yeah, it can be done right, but then most of the time it's done wrong in gaming. Saints Row it hits that mark for me right now. I say all that to get to the same point. Saints Row hits that mark for me right now where I don't want to play it because of the characters. I would rather wait and buy it for cheaper. Even though the game may fundamentally look fun to play, and a lot of things you can do in the game, I don't want to deal with the characters that I'm gonna have to deal with in order to play said game. So I was watching the first 15 minutes of the game, and as they were kind of going through everything and they were talking about health insurance. They were talking about like the girl was on the the actual they were on their way to combat or whatever, and she started talking about her benefits and do I get paid for this and like those tropes about us the generation that being like they don't want to really work for anything like
Mhm.
I just like I got tired of it instantly. I was like, I don't want to hear about this. So then I was like, why don't I like these games? And then I started to understand that I just like the writing. I don't like how they present those situations, and I don't like how they kind of because I'm like, Grand Theft Auto 5 had pop cultures, but why did I like that game more? Simply because
Did
it
you
was
like
rooted in reality in some ways versus not just always trying to joke. It was like I guess I'm getting too old for those games that's arcadey and really just over the top when it comes to the writers.
did you like Saints Row 4? Because wasn't that one just more like the comedy like Archer, where it's everybody in the cast is like an idiot and it's like funny.
I didn't play Saints Row 4,
Oh,
unfortunately. I
okay.
stopped playing it after 3 and um Saints Row the Third, I think that's what it was called. And I only got halfway through Saints Row the Third before I stopped playing. So nah, I didn't really play 4 um or the Get Out of Hell or whatever that stuff was called. I didn't play it, but and that's probably why I didn't want to buy Borderlands either. Because I was like, I want to play it for the looting stuff, but I don't want to hear her talk the whole time and talk with her jokes. And people were saying it was okay and funny at some points, but I was just like, I don't want to hear it, so I didn't buy it. or when I bought it, I resold it without. I returned it because I didn't want to crack it open. I didn't want to hear it. So it started to just get me thinking about Saints Row because I'm really interested in playing it, but maybe I should just mute characters. That might be the move where I just play with the dialogue all the way off. But then I'm not playing the game how they meant me to play it. So then I'm trying to figure out if I'm getting too serious or if it's just getting old. Because I guess I don't want to be someone that just like rejects a game simply based off of a characteristic of it. Because if the game overall is decent, why should this cause me to not want to give it a try? So I don't know. I've been thinking about that, and I was like, I really enjoy period pieces for that reason, where period pieces have to take on the piece that time, and because I'm not in that time and I don't understand that time, it gives me more engagement than I would be where I understand the time that it's in, and they're trying to actually relate to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, I don't think people play games to get reminded of society, if you will. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like a game is like a scapegoat, like I guess some movies do it, you know what I'm saying? But it's just kind of like, I don't care to hear about y'all know about like COVID or I don't know, just stuff like that. That wouldn't. I feel like that would annoy me more than anything. I mean, like some of the things that you had said, like I probably like tune it out. It was certain things that they said in Watch Dogs too, where I was just like, y'all having senseless conversation that doesn't like progress the game, doesn't progress your character. It doesn't do anything. It's just I ain't even gonna say it's mindless banter. It's just in a game setting, it's mindless banter. If we was talking about it in real life, it'd be something different. But in a game setting, like y'all knowing what's going on in the world does not have any impact on or any positive impact on a game. Like it doesn't. Like what is the point of this? Like there's no point.
During your missions, when they'll call in and talk to you about something, like Watch Dogs Legion had it more than Watch Dogs 2, where they'll call in and they'll say something or talk to you about something, and it's just like, bro, just let me finish the mission. I don't really want to talk right now. It's like those things where they trying to emphasize the relatability to it and like what it can showcase in this game world is really where it gets annoying to me. And I don't know how to say it outside of just like I don't want to hear it, and I'd rather not be in the reality of this world because I think it's weird right now, and a lot of stuff that's happening. There's a lot of things in games right now that make me feel like and like some of the stuff isn't like political in a sense, but people make it into a political statement, and it feels weaponized sometimes when it shouldn't. It really should just be something that's there. It really should be something that's just available or in a genuine way. I just don't like when it feels as if the game provides something or states something to check off a box. And I'm not talking about, and I wouldn't want to, and I don't want people to think that's like gender or identity or whatever. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm literally talking about sometimes when they kind of go into a topic or a conversation and they want to make a point about something, and I'm just like, I don't want to hear it right now. I'm just trying to play the game. And it's like, if I want to listen or hear about this or talk about this, I go to the news or whatever case may be where I can find information about said topic or even this topical thing that's happening in the world. Or if I really wanted to engage in this world right now, I would stay in it. I want this game to be fun and enjoyable for the things that it does right, not for what you're trying to relate to me by. And that's kind of my biggest gripe with those games. Is just be like, bro, y'all not funny. I don't know who these writers is, but y'all trash. Y'all can't tell a good story. Y'all ain't even trying to keep the momentum going in the right healthy way. Y'all just trying to make sure everybody feels
Connected
included.
or
Yeah,
included. Yeah.
it's like, bro, I'd be like, okay, man, I get it, I understand it, bro, but it's just weird, bro, it's not even like
Yeah.
inclusion on, it's inclusion on topics, orientation, like it's like religion. It talks about racism. It just talks about so many things that sometimes I'd be like, and they try to make it into a joke, and I'm like, sometimes some things you just can't joke about. Some things you just have to let it be, and then if you don't joke about those things, like they feel like the only thing that they can write about because they can't be serious is like weird sex jokes or something stupid. Like it just becomes like, if I can't jump off of this material and actually say something worth talking about, I would rather just go back to dildo jokes, sex jokes, stupid things that are happening in the world that just don't make no sense. So I feel like the writers are either handicapped or they just suck. That's my opinion.
I mean,
No, I just feel
like,
like it's bad writing because if you're a good writer or can tell a good story, you can talk about anything. Just about
Hmm.
like comedy, anything can be made funny if you are a good comedian because it's not just because like you can give 100 comedians the same joke, but not everybody is going to be able to make that joke land, especially if it's like a controversial topic. It
Hmm.
has to be a lot of things that goes up into it. Maybe it's like build up or like some sort of backstory, or something about this person that makes uh them when they deliver this joke more acceptable than whatever. So in games, I think in the games in general, it's common to have bad writers, and so that's what you see in Borderlands and stuff like that. But if they had more time or better writers or whatever, I'm sure that they can give better stories or talk about those topics that and actually make it interesting. Because like, there's no reason that it shouldn't be interesting other than you don't know what you're doing with this material.
Agreed. Yeah, and I don't want to say Saints Row. I can't judge it by it's just the first few minutes, but I know the type of game it is, and I knew going into it. I'd rather them keep the topics on what's in the happening, I guess, in the game, but also make it funny, make it actually interesting to listen to, and not just somebody just talking. I feel like it's most of the time it's just to fill space. Like they don't want you to not have anybody having a conversation with you at all times. Even when a character is saying stuff about what's happening, it just feels like it just feels bad. So I don't know.
I thought it
Yeah.
was weird on when on Watch Dogs when I remember this one part when I was driving and then dude with the I forgot his name. That's how much I cared about the dude. Wrench, that's his name.
Hmm.
Wrench and Marcus was having a conversation about like Alien versus Predator and stuff. And I'm like, why are y'all talking about Alien versus Predator? Like y'all a video game, like, and they talking about all these things like the xenomorphs and is it necro xenomorphs? I think they call it.
Yeah.
And they just talking about all that type of stuff, and I'm like, so why did y'all even take time to record this in the studio? Like, if y'all trying to show me that y'all know Alien versus Predator, like get on, like just shut up talking, like you know. Like I don't care about hearing Alien versus Predator. I'm just playing the game. Not saying that it's specifically for me, but it's just kind of like, I don't know, man. It just seemed like they tried hard to connect to the world and want you to just sit there and think about something. And I don't know, but
Yeah, I mean, Red Dead did it too. Red Dead did it in a more seasoned way. They kind of did it where it actually was talking about what the world was like. They had to tell it through a story. You know what I'm saying? Like even if it was happening and it was like same things, that same topical things, because obviously the word, not history repeat itself, but they talking about topical things about like maybe the and they tie it back to what you're finna go do. So, say for instance, you're going to kill the mayor or try to talk to the mayor, and they start talking about how the mayor did not help them when they needed something, or and they had like a hard times hit them, and they couldn't get the crops or whatever. Like it's relatable, but you know that it's all connected to what you're about to go do versus just some random crap that they throw in there so that they can fill space. Like, you know what I mean? Like actual writers that talk, even small dialect is something that they want to make sure they're directing the character with, not just saying stuff. So, yeah, I mean, world building is important. You know, maybe I'm harshly I'm harshly judging the world that Saints Row is building, because if they're working towards building that type of world and that nobody cares, they talking about loose communication and all this other stuff. Obviously they're building on that world that it's really messed up and you got to step up to take it down or whatever. But man, is it tiring sometimes, especially when your brain actually works. I think I'm just getting too old for these games, but at the same time I don't want to disconnect from games that I could enjoy simply because I don't no longer connect with how they want to present said story or world. But you know, whatever. That's just my opinion. It doesn't have to be fact. It's just an opinion of mine that when they cater to those, when they cater to, I can throw us in there, I guess. When they try to cater to us, it comes off very generic and generalized and not interesting. So here's to not doing that again.